All right, so this coming weekend we got UFC 304, Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. I'm going to go over the main card of this pay-per-view, and I'm going to give you my predictions for every fight on the main card. So let's just get right into it with Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. I'm going to go with Arnold Allen. I feel like it's a pretty safe pick. I'm sure most people are going for Arnold Allen. I imagine he's the favorite by a pretty large margin. I haven't looked at the odds on any of this, and I'm probably not going to in this video. But I'm sure Arnold Allen is the favorite. Giga Chikadze, solid striker, good kickboxer, no grappling whatsoever, at least very bad grappling. He is fast, but I feel like he's lost his speed since that Calvin Kattar beatdown. And that's another thing. When he was on the way up and he seemed to be like in his prime and everybody thought he was a killer, he got the brakes beat off him by Calvin Kattar. I mean, he was handily whooped by Calvin Kattar, and I love Calvin Kattar. I'm a huge Calvin Kattar fan. Calvin Kattar for a long time my favorite featherweight, might still be my favorite featherweight. But I'm not like delusional. I know that Calvin Kattar is not the best featherweight in the world. I think Arnold Allen is a more well-rounded, higher skilled striker than Calvin Kattar. Maybe not as good in the strict boxing, but overall he has more tools in his arsenal, and I just feel like I think he has everything he needs to take care of Giga Chikadze. I don't think there's anywhere in the fight where Giga Chikadze is going to have be more successful than Arnold Allen. I think Arnold Allen could outstrike him on the feet. I think if he wants to grapple, he can. I think he will grapple early in this fight, like Calvin Kattar did, to just wear out Giga. And because after Giga grappled in that first round with Calvin Kattar, it was clear he had nothing left. Like, it drained him. He slowed down. He didn't have the sting on his shots that he had earlier on. I could see Arnold Allen doing that same thing with maybe even more success than Calvin Kattar had. And on top of that, I think Arnold Allen, when he hurts people, he can be really ferocious afterward. And I could see him hurting Giga and going in for a finish. And I do think Arnold Allen will get the finish over Chikadze. I'm going to go with Arnold Allen by like a third round TKO. I think he'll wear down Giga in the first round with some grappling, beat him up pretty bad in the second, like Calvin Kattar did, land a lot of good shots on him, chew up his leg with kicks. Yeah, mostly in the boxing. Lots of strikes to the head with the boxing, good strikes, rocking him all over the place. I think he'll probably drop Giga in the second round maybe, and then in the third round I think he'll get a TKO. Moving on up the card, Muhammad Mokaev versus Manel Kape. This one's hard to predict because Muhammad Mokaev keeps winning, but he progressively looks worse every single fight, and he always looks bad until the end. He looks terrible and then gets a submission. Or in the Alex Perez fight, he just doesn't look very good the whole fight, but neither does Perez, and Muhammad Mokaev gets, a close decision victory. So it's a hard fight for me to predict, but I do think I am going to go with Muhammad Mokaev. My main reason being that he has finishing potential, and he is a good grappler. As much as he looks not as good as we want him to in a lot of these fights, I think a big reason why we thought he looked so terrible in some of his fights on the come up is because we had really extreme expectations for him. Because of where he's from, he's a Dagestani, and we see these Dagestanis, and we expect them all to perform like a Khabib Nurmagomedov or an Islam Makhachev. We expect complete and utter dominance, and if they don't have that, then we think they must suck. I think Muhammad Mokaev is an extremely good grappler. I think he has okay control. He has really good submissions. He knows how to get you out of there when he needs to toward the end of a fight. He knows when it's urgent, he can get the finish. His striking is not good at all. He can survive on the feet, but I think Manel Kape will pretty easily outstrike him. I think Muhammad Mokaev is going to have to go for the grappling to get this done, but I just think he'll be able to. I think Manel Kape. I think what's interesting actually about this fight, I think Muhammad Mokaev was so hyped up on the come up, and then he didn't perform to what we the standards that we set for him, and so now people think he sucks. So I think he's actually pretty underrated for that reason, whereas Manel Kape, I think, is kind of overrated. Manel Cap doesn't have that many like awesome wins. He got a decision win over Felipe Dos Santos, making his like UFC debut on short notice in his last fight. He misses weight all the time. He has a ton of canceled fights. Go to his Tapology page. I have it opened up right now. We have 2 canceled fights against Mateus Nicolau, a win over Felipe Dos Santos, then 3 canceled fights in a row. Kai Kara-France, Davison Figueiredo, Alex Perez. Before that, beating David Dvorak by unanimous decision. It's not like a great win. And then canceled fight against Bontorin, canceled fight against Swimidorji, and then he knocked out Zhalgas Magulov, knocked out Odi Osborne. Before that, beaten Mateus Nicolau by split decision. It's not like awesome for you to be in the top 5 or the top 10. Lost to, I said he lost to Mateus Nicolau. Lost to Alexander Pantoja, unanimous decision. No shame in that. Pantoja is the champion right now, and he's awesome. He's a great fighter. No shame. Before that, canceled fight against Pantoja, canceled fight against Bontorin. Okay? The dude has so many canceled fights. He misses weight all the time, and I just can't trust someone like that. I don't trust that your mind is all the way where it needs to be. And he hasn't looked that impressive in most of his recent fights. I know he's on a 4-fight win streak, but none of them are like crazy, incredible performances. The Zhalgas Magulov win, it was good. I think on paper that's his best win. And Felipe Dos Santos, even though it was his debut on short notice, that was still, just with the eye test, you could tell that was a good win. Felipe Dos Santos looked really good in that fight. But either way, I got to go Muhammad Mokaev. I kind of don't trust Manel Cap at this point. I hope he proves me wrong, because I think his style is fun. I would like to see him get a win. I would like to see him go up, fight for a title soon. That'd be sweet. I just don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to go Muhammad Mokaev, getting I think he's going to get a late submission. I think Muhammad Mokaev, 3rd round submission, like he tends to do. Moving on up the card, versus Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. I'm going Paddy Pimblett. For a long time, I thought Bobby Green was going to win, and part of me still maybe kind of does. Bobby Green defies the odds as far as like his age goes. He fights really well for his age. I believe he's 39, 38. I'll just check. 37. I was wrong. Okay, he's 37, but he's still like old for a lightweight, you know. But he's fast. He has good boxing. Lots of volume. He has enough power to sting guys. He doesn't get a lot of one-punch knockouts, unless you're Grant Dawson, I guess, which was a super fluky win, I thought. But Bobby Green, fun to watch, you know, good striker, good boxing, but he's, I think we hype him up a little too much, actually. I think people really like Bobby Green, and they sort of rate his skills too high. I know he got a great win over Jim Miller. He looked good in that fight, but that's Jim Miller. As much as I like Jim Miller, the dude's old, and he has become a bit of a can crusher, if we're being honest. Bobby Green, one problem that I have with him in this fight is he gets hurt in every single one of his fights. He's tough. He's super tough, but I don't really trust his chin. He got dropped by Jim Miller in the 1st round. He was horribly knocked out by Jalen Turner. With one of the worst stoppages ever. He gets knocked out and then continues to get his face beat into the floor for, like another 15 unanswered super hard strikes? Probably more than that. Maybe it was like 25 unanswered strikes. It was a horrible stoppage. That ref should have been fired. Maybe he was. But there's that. And then before that, knocked out by Drew Dober. Just like one solid left hook to the jaw. Puts him out cold. My nose is itching. I'm sorry. Bobby Green's been knocked out a fair few times at this point. He's open on the feet. As good as he is, his defense all relies on him like moving his head, leaning back. And when he leans back, it's kind of like Anderson Silva leaning back against Chris Weidman. My nose is still itching. It's driving me crazy. You can only lean back so far if you don't move your feet with you. And if you have a guy throwing his strikes at you, attacking you, that's moving forward quicker than you're moving backward, obviously, he's going to catch you on the chin while you're leaning back. And Bobby Green just leans back. He doesn't put his hands up. He leans back, and then sometimes if he needs to move off laterally, he'll duck down under, kind of like throw his head under it. Bob and weave. Weaves under, moves off to the side sometimes, but usually just leans back. That's kind of what he was doing against Drew Dober. You know, he's like throwing his punches and he's trying to lean back and he's rolling side to side with Drew Dober's punches because Drew Dober's throwing left, right, left, right. As soon as Drew Dober doubled up on the left and Bobby Green just got into the rhythm of kind of rolling with left to right, he ended up rolling right into the left hook. That was kind of irrelevant. My point is, the dude doesn't put his hands up. He relies 100% on head movement. And you can only do that so much when your chin isn't that good because you're going to get caught clean. You got to keep your hands up. If we're going to trust you to not get caught clean. And he's been caught clean too many times. He's been dropped too many times. Paddy Pimblett does hit pretty hard. And then on top of that, if Paddy Pimblett needs to, I think he can go to the wrestling and do jiu-jitsu. And Paddy Pimblett has some pretty good grappling, man. Like, I know we like to trash Paddy Pimblett because it's funny, but his grappling is good. His submissions are good. I think Paddy Pimblett's going to beat Bobby Green. I think he's going to finish him. I think he's going to drop Bobby Green at some point in the fight, just kind of waiting in there, throwing haymakers. I think Bobby Green's also going to be throwing. I think they're going to land on each other, but Paddy Pimblett's going to take Bobby Green's shots, and Bobby Green is not going to take Paddy Pimblett's. He's going to go down. Paddy Pimblett's going to jump on top of him, hit him some more, and sink in a rear naked choke after Bobby Green gives his back to avoid taking shots to the face. Paddy Pimblett, second round rear naked choke is what I'm going with. Yeah, moving up the card, Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. I'm so excited for this fight. Tom Aspinall is the man. I think he's the best heavyweight in the world. He's the most dangerous heavyweight in the world. I don't care about John Jones. I don't care what John Jones fans have to say. John Jones hasn't had a fun fight in years. Tom Aspinall is exciting every time out there. And I think he's going to knock out Curtis Blaydes in one round because that's just what Aspinall does, man. Shortest average fight time in the UFC. Knocks out everybody. Hasn't seen a decision since coming into the UFC. Has only seen the second round one time since coming into the UFC, I believe. And that was against Arlovsky. And even then, when the second round came by, he just submitted him right away. There's just... I like Curtis Blaydes. I think Curtis Blaydes is a great fighter. I think he's one of the best heavyweights. And he has power. He has decent striking. He has the ability to catch Aspinall and get this done. I just don't see it happening. I think Aspinall is so much faster than these other heavyweights, and he has the speed mixed with the knockout power that he will catch all of them before they catch him. And I think that's the main thing. Aspinall will catch you first, and at heavyweight, all it takes is for you to get caught one time and it's over. That's what he did to Pavlovich, and I remember going into that fight, a lot of people were picking Pavlovich. Everybody was so high on Pavlovich. He's the new Ngannou. He knocks everybody out. Nobody can survive his punches. He hit Aspinall like twice in that fight. Aspinall took it, and Aspinall jumped in with a 1-2, really wobbled Pavlovich, and then hit him with another 1-2, put him down, finished him off with ground and pound strikes in the first round. It was like a minute and 10 seconds into the fight or something. And before that, knocking out Marcin Tybura, not the best win, but he took a guy that he should have destroyed and destroyed him. He didn't make it close, you know. And before that was when his leg exploded against Curtis Blaydes in their first fight that lasted about 12 seconds. So that was unfortunate. Before that, submitting Alexander Volkov in the first round. Volkov's been on a tear lately. That's a great win. That looks awesome on Aspinall's record. Avoiding getting hurt at all on the feet, shooting a takedown when he felt like it, and then doing whatever he wanted to Volkov on the ground and submitting him with ease. And before that, you know, knocking out Sergey Spivak. Tom Aspinall's a great heavyweight, man. He's so well-rounded. I think he's easily the most dangerous heavyweight in the division in the UFC. And I think he's going to knock out Curtis Blaydes in one round. I think it's going to be similar to the Pavlovich one. I think Aspinall's going to be bouncing around on the outside, kind of waiting for Curtis to come in. And I think they're going to throw back and forth a couple times. And Aspinall's just going to bolt in there with a really quick 1-2. And I think it's going to sit Blaydes down right away. Aspinall's going to jump on him, land some ground and pound strikes. Very similar to the Pavlovich win, in my opinion. And, yeah, Tom Aspinall, first round KO. That's what I'm going with. Moving on, main event. My nose won't stop itching. Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. I'm I'm going with Leon Edwards. This is the least exciting fight on the card, in my opinion. I think Leon Edwards is the king of doing a little bit better than you. He fights to the level of his competition. That's what he's always done. That's what he always will do. I don't see Belal having hardly any success in this fight. I think if Belal tries to go for takedowns, Leon can stuff them. Belal can't strike with Leon. We saw that in the first fight that they had. I know that Belal has improved since then, but so has Leon, and Leon was schooling Belal in the first fight. Granted, Belal kind of builds into fights, but I don't think that would have got much better for him. Yeah, Leon is just a guy who it's hard to tell how good he is because he never, like, some fighters, like in Aspinall, they fight to the best of their ability every fight, and so they smoke the people that aren't on their level. But then you have some fighters that fight to the level of their competition. They're content to just win. They just care about winning. They don't put themselves in danger. They're just going to do enough more than you to get the decision win, and that's what Leon Edwards does. He doesn't smoke guys that are way below him. You know, he goes to a decision with Nate Diaz. He goes to a decision with Colby Covington, and he goes to a decision in the second fight with Kamaru Usman, and, you know, goes to a decision with RDA, and he goes to a decision with, I believe, Damian Maia. Like, this is kind of just what Leon Edwards does. He's going to easily outstrike Belal Muhammad because he's way more technical. Leon Edwards is very good. I don't want to get it twisted. Leon Edwards is an extremely good fighter. He does just about everything you can possibly do, like, technically perfect. He's probably one of, if not the most complete fighter in the UFC. He doesn't have much for, like, a killer instinct. He doesn't have a lot of aggression. And he's not that exciting to watch, but he does everything extremely well. He will do enough to beat Belal Muhammad every single round. I expect Leon Edwards to get a 50-45 or a 49-46 unanimous decision against Belal Muhammad. I think he's going to make it look easy, and I think we're all going to go to sleep during the main event. So yeah, Leon Edwards retaining his belt, fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov next, or JDM, hopefully. One of those two guys next, which would actually be a fun fight. Belal Muhammad can get out of the UFC. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what you guys think of the card in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments if you would like to do that. And if you disagree with any of my predictions. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.